Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today I have been having some real fun playing with my decks, and yesterday as well. I've seen videos where people have chosen like winter decks or holiday themed decks, so it's kind of one of those. I've never really picked out decks to use for the season really, and I don't know why, and I just felt real cool to do it this season. Also, I saw on Clementia's Creative Cartomancy, she has a tag called Deck the Halls with Decks, I think that's it, where she's chosen holiday themed decks for the basic energies of the holiday season. She chose some decks and I loved that as well, so it's kind of like a VR to that as well. So it's a VR to Deck the Halls with decks, but really it's just me finding some winter decks to work with, and oh boy, I've found some amazing decks and some amazing pairings. First of all, a pairing that is in front of me. I've been working with this now for nearly a week, and oh boy, oh my goodness me, this pairing is amazing. Can you even see it? So this is the Faceted Garden Oracle by who is this by? This is by, I've forgotten, Claire Mack. This is a Claire Mack deck. I was gifted this, and oh my gosh, when I opened this oracle I cried, because I thought, actually I think this is probably the most beautiful oracle that I have ever seen. So it's got these backs and it's got silver gilding, which isn't sharp and scratchy. It's lovely to use. But I paired it with the Ravyness Drakon Tarot, which is the last deck that I bought in before no buy kicked in. But I still haven't worked with it, so I've had it a whole year and it's kind of sat there unworked with. This is by Beth Seelanon. I love her decks. It's got these amazing black and white backs, but the actual deck itself is incredibly colourful. So I really wanted to work with this deck, and I went through all of my decks thinking which one makes me think of winter. Both of these decks made me think of winter and crows in the sky, and you know, that sort of cold feel to the air around us. So I decided to pair them together, although I suppose dragons are fire, so you might think it's more summer. For me, this felt like winter. This one because of the landscape and sort of that cold vibe to it in a lot of the cards. This one I think because of storytelling. I began to realise that Christmas and the holiday season and winter makes me think of snuggling down and telling stories and watching films, and like in that hibernating kind of mode. And I kind of felt myself sorting out my decks for this video and for my winter tarot usage, going to decks that were more storytelling based. I mean, look at this already, and of course I've started videoing, so somebody's started hammering outside, so please do excuse all the noise outside. I mean, look at it. But working with it, blimmin' heck, working with it, it's been fantastic. Like I said, I'm on my 5th day of pulling. I've done a weekly pull with these two decks. I've been pulling an oracle card every day with a morning card from the tarot, and then an evening card to clarify and to ponder on, and it has been amazing. It's kind of shaped my day as well. I mean, look at this swirl around this goddess and this swirl around this fetus, just amazing, and then the swirl around the cups as well. Yeah, so this has been a pairing that has just filled my soul at the end of the year with so much joy, and it has just been breathtaking how fantastic it's been. I needed the full card for a study I'm doing, and I picked the deck up and the full card was at the bottom of the deck, so things like that. Every time I've picked the deck up, it's thrown some magic at me. But look, oh my gosh, I could literally sit and just show you this amazing pairing all for the whole video, but I've got so many other decks to show you. But I love it. I absolutely love it. Look at the love locket with the mushrooms there. Yeah, just wonderful. So this is the Ravyness Drakon Tarot with the Faceted Garden Oracle. They have been amazing this week. Those are going to stay out because I am still working with those two. While I'm popping these decks away, I will show you some photos of some of the readings that I've done this week that have been out on my desk, and you'll see that it's just been brilliant. It's been wonderful. Okay, so next in the winter box, I don't think this one will be a surprise for anybody that has been watching my other channel, Tiny Soul Whispers, and seeing the Rainbow Moon Tarot by Samantha West being used daily. I think it's pretty evident to anybody watching that this deck has kind of grabbed my heart and soul. And you know, you've got starry or possibly snowy backs, you've got wintry edging, you've got lots of colour, but it's kind of crisp, cool colour. I love it. I think this is an anytime deck. I think part of Christmas is the decorations, isn't it? It's all of the lots of colour. We've got trees decorated, we've got lights glittering. The houses are very, very colourful. So the Rainbow Moon Tarot, I want to stay out because when I get to winter I think of decorating and sparkles, and I thought the colouring just went perfectly with the Iris Oracle. So I'll show you the backs. So these are the backs of the two. So the Iris Oracle I've spoken about lots of times on my channel. It is really a special Oracle deck in my collection. It's been one of the most healing decks that I own, and when I started pairing these two together, which I did for a few days before I started working with the Ravyness Drakon, I was blown away. I think I've shared this pairing before. I shared it on one of my other videos on my standout decks, because of course the Iris is always going to be a standout deck. And then the Rainbow Moon Tarot has crept in as a standout deck for me through December, and it's new to me. It's new in my collection, and I've loved it. But putting the two together, yeah, absolutely incredible. This one is hard to get if you're UK based. I got it because it came up secondhand on eBay. But the Rainbow Moon Tarot is mass market and very affordable and just lovely to read with. It's lovely to look at as well. I mean, look at the colours in it. So like I said, these make me think of Christmas decorations. They make me think of the sparkly, extroverted, colourful surroundings that we have around us during the holiday season. I suppose it's the excitement of this time of year, with the build up to Christmas Day, or to the build up of Yule, or to the build up of the excitement of a new year turning around. It needs a bit of colour. It really does. I know outside is getting greyer and whiter, and colder and more barren looking, but inside it needs colour. And I think for me that's the dichotomy of winter for me, which I think comes across in my decks. It's colour and excitement and sparkle inside, but outside it's extra grey and cold and barren and makes you want to hibernate. So there's a darkness there against a sparkly brightness. It's the need to be excited and to celebrate and to dress up against a backdrop of wanting to cozy on down and to hibernate and to hide and go to dark caves and to plan and to journal all by yourself. It's two things. So that came into play when I chose my decks. So let's have a look at a darker combination then. So the Dark Mirror Oracle cards. It's that time of year, isn't it, where we start trying to evaluate the year and to try and decide, you know, where things didn't go so good and where we might want to focus on for moving our life forward next year, for dreaming and for looking at what we need to work at, for being honest with ourselves. This is where I think hibernating really comes into play. So I found this pairing which I thought would be really good for that. So it's the Dark Mirror Oracle cards. Oh my gosh, and I haven't got the box for this because the box is awful. And what's it called? Is it the Enchanted Dream Tarot? Oh my gosh, I'll put the name on the screen. I've completely forgotten. This is a tarot that kind of goes its own way a little bit, and it's fantastic to work with. And I thought they had that kind of sort of, it's cold, but it's also got the browns in it for that hibernating feel that I think winter is full of. For that self-evaluation, for that getting down and dirty and honest with yourself as the year rolls round into a new year. There are lots of shadows this year for me that have come to the surface and are now standing in a very stark, barren, cold land, waiting for me to come up with the next move. I think for those shadows, these two decks will be fantastic. This is definitely a part of winter for me, just as much as the sparkly, colourful decks that I've just shared. So you've got that excitement of partying, but you've also got this much darker energy, I think. And I just think these two decks look amazing for it. I am excited to work with them. Yeah, so that's another pairing. Oh, this next pairing that I'm staring at in my drawer next to me, it really shows that dichotomy of the sparkly, celebratory, storytelling, colourful aspect of this season. So there's the Witchling Academy Tarot. I mean, for me, watching films, we've already watched the Trolls movie, which I love. At some point we will probably do a Harry Potter, the whole Harry Potter set of films, which we normally do. This is very much Hogwarts, Harry Potter vibes. It's also incredibly colourful. It reminds me of snuggling up with films, with stories, again part of the season. But how about actually combining it with a much darker storytelling card deck? This is actually a card game, but it can be used as an oracle as well. This is the Hollow Woods deck. Both fairy tale stories, fantasy story vibe, but you've got that mix here of the dark and the light that I just think sums up this season. So you've got yellow in both of the backs. You can see how dark the tangled briar thorns are here. So you can see here you've got this really colourful sort of storytelling vibe to the tarot, and yet in the middle these cards throw in something a lot more sinister. How would I use these cards? Just completely intuitively. So for say here, you know, you've got a gap here, she's coming, it looks like out of the maze. You've got a gateway here, she's hiding from something, she's being attacked. Gateways to safety, this card is immediately telling me about. And again here with the Seven of Cups and choices, and the King of Wands, like being flamboyant, not being scared to choose to use the energy of the King of Wands, but not to be scared of shadows in the dark that might not even turn out to be anything. You can see how these two would work together, but with an incredibly strong storytelling vibe. So friendship and looking at what you've got, not like the friends you've lost. And here you've got almost like a ghost-like figure. So friends from the past who might, the memory of them might keep you stuck and forlorn, like this figure. You can see how it would work, and for me this really does sum up that idea of winter time, of hibernating, of getting on down with a good book or good film. Am I the only person who just delights in winter because of story? I love this. You've got the cat and the wolf, and she looks like she's meowing, and this one is howling, along with the Queen of Wands. Oh my gosh, that's a message for me immediately. The Queen of Wands again is coming out for me and howling to me, so that was very pertinent immediately. So I can see immediately that these two are going to work so brilliantly together. So that is the Witchling Academy Tarot, along with the Hollow Woods, which is a game set. Storytelling card games. They are by Magical Myoramas, and they have a few. I think there's one like set in an industrial world, and I think there's one set in like a Victorian house. Me, with my love for stories and fairy tale and storytelling, this is the one that called to me, but I think they all look incredible. But the last pairing in this top drawer next to me is another one linked with story. So Maggie Stiefvater's The Raven's Prophecy Tarot. Of course, the Raven Boys books are a series. It's fantastic. I've actually got on my shelf downstairs some of the new books, the spin-offs from that series, ready to read, so that's exciting because I'm reading those. Of course, I wanted this deck to come out. I thought the orange and the colours and that dark and light again might pair brilliantly with the Witch's Oracle. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so sorry about how noisy the road is outside. It was the one thing that I liked about lockdown, was the road was silent and it was wonderful. So again, that idea of hibernating and sort of snuggling up with stories, but alongside a bit more colour. Oh, this box is, I am literally trying to pick cards out of this box. It is rubbish. I need to get a bag for this. That was awful, trying to get those cards out. So the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morgenstern. It's got these backs. The Raven's Prophecy Tarot has these backs, so they look quite nice, I think, together. I know some people chop the orange borders off, but I actually quite like the orange borders on these cards, and I just thought that it would give that feel of colour and dark, which I love, and storytelling. And I know that this deck, although it's quite colourful, the Witch's Oracle, there is quite a bit of orange in it, and I just thought the colours would go really nice. Look, you can see there. Yeah, I like this. Again, it shows that kind of dichotomy of colour and dark. It also feels quite cold, I think, this deck, although it's colourful. I don't know whether it's the white edges. It's quite stark, the energy of it. I think it's more the energy than the look of it. It has quite a stark, sort of cold feel to it. Although a lot of these scenes are not winter scenes, it's still there, that energy in the deck. And I think these two will go really nicely together. I'm really excited to read the new books that come after the Raven Boys books. So that's a series of 4 books, but they've taken one of the key characters in those books and they've carried on the story with him, which I am super excited to read. So this is the Raven's Prophecy Tarot along with the Witch's Oracle. Really excited about this one. Wow, I told you that I'd got a lot of decks to share and I still have got loads. Another 2 decks that I thought would really pair. Now these are 2 that I am wanting to work with anyway. This was my very first tarot, The Wild Unknown by Kim Krans. We all know this deck. I haven't really focused on working with it, and I thought that some of the artwork in this feels quite cold and it feels quite stark and it feels quite barren, some of the artwork. It's very simple. It feels like this could be a winter scene that we're looking at, so it just felt energy wise perfect for the weather. So I suppose I'm saying as well, not only is it like story time or colour and decoration or that feeling to need to hibernate, it's also the weather has had an impact on me choosing these decks. But I also haven't worked with the Divine Muses Oracle yet. I tried working once with it and I felt claustrophobic working with it. It literally set off a bout of claustrophobia, which I sometimes struggle with jewellery in particular. I'm terrible with jewellery and clothing. So I thought I would try pairing it with something that was a lot more open with room to breathe. I think it's the muted sort of musty colours of the Muse. I felt like I couldn't breathe with it. But I think these 2 together might work really nicely. Look at that with the sunflower there. I love that. It is a beautiful looking deck. Oh, the star with the Great Mother, that's beautiful. I think I might even do my year ahead with the Wild Unknown again. I did it once before. Yes, it's definitely got a feel of winter for me, the Wild Unknown. Yeah, I love it. Oh, the 3 of Wands with reflection. I love that. So what do you think? I think that might work really nicely. They're 2 decks, like I say, that I really want to give some time to in the year coming forward in 2023. Gosh, that feels weird to say, 2023. And it just seems like a great time to work with them. So the weather and the landscape along with the energy of the season as well. Cold, crisp air that makes you breathe easy with a more suffocating need to hibernate and hide away and ponder and wrap yourself up. Yeah, these 2 decks actually embody that for me. So really excited to work with those 2. So also, I think one of my plans for 2023 is to also stay a little bit more connected with the moon and my moon practice. Some of those shadows that I spoke about that have come to light for me in 2022 have been to do with not being able to stay grounded and using really harmful ways to myself to try and feel grounded, and to try and find more healthy ways to stay grounded. So working with the moon more and finding ways to connect with the moon is going to be really important moving forward. So I pulled out a couple of moon decks, and again this is that idea of sort of cold, barren feel. The Uncommon Tarot, I haven't used that much, but just looking at the backs and the silver edging just makes me think of this time of year, really. Although the cards, not necessarily so much when you look at the cards. So these are the backs of the Moon Mantra deck. This is the back of the Uncommon Tarot. And I tried putting these two together just while I was playing around with the decks, and I just thought that they look lovely. I mean, look at that. What do you think of that? There's a mantra on there which I think I'm going to need to be spoon fed with some of this shadow work that I'm doing, and I just think that that is such a beautiful pairing. So the Uncommon Tarot, it's kind of this sort of grainy collage feeling. Again, it's got that almost that suffocating feeling that the Divine Muses has, which I think is going to be really interesting to explore. But the clarity and the sharpness and the easiness of this oracle with it, I think will counterbalance it. Oh, for me, the energy of this is just pure winter time for me. And I am excited, really excited actually, looking at these two now in front of me to work with them. And look at that. Wise one with I know that I am made of the same magic as the brightest stars in the sky. With the Knight of Cups, the way we love. Already messages coming through. I can allow myself to rest in the shadows because I know that the moon does too. With the Ten of Wands, putting down your burden and resting. Just love it. And the shape synchronicity there as well with the Ace of Coins. So this is the Uncommon Tarot, the Collage deck, with the Moon Mantras deck, which is a soul and spirit deck. I still see this on eBay a lot. I picked it up. I think I only paid about £2 for it. The Uncommon Tarot as well as mass market. So these are decks that are easy to get, and relatively easy to get and not expensive to get. So moving forward with my moon practice, another key reason for choosing some of these decks, and I see in the same drawer another pairing that kind of fits that idea of moving forward with the moon in my back pocket, as it were. I wonder if you can guess what deck it is. One that also makes me think about hibernating, and it's the colours in this deck for that. The Deviant Moon Tarot. Now this has been out, this was used through November and at the start of December still. I had a complete aversion to the Deviant Moon, vowed I'd never buy it, got it in, and now I'm obsessed with it. It's got these sort of dark earthy colours. It just makes me think about hibernating, about digging in deep for the winter, opening up the bookcase and just staying in and just hibernating. Oh my gosh, this card broke my heart when I first saw it. I love the art in the deck, and I don't think it translates through the screen. Now, I thought I could pair it with something a lot brighter, and it's an Amy Zerner Montefaber deck. This is a Creativity Oracle with the gold gilded edges. If any deck sums up that kind of decorative aspect of this season, for me it's these decks, the Amy Zerner Montefaber decks, and the Creativity Oracle as well. I have a bit of time to get creative when the kids are at their dad's at Christmas and school runs have stopped, so it just seemed really perfect. And I tried it when looking for pairs with the Deviant Moon, thinking, I wonder and look at it. Oh my gosh, can you see this? Look at this. Isn't this fantastic? Well, I think I squealed when I combined this. Sorry, I was interrupted by the dogs pushing in and jumping up on the bed. So if you can hear things in the background now, I have both dogs in here wondering where I went to. But look at this. I think this is fantastic. Another pairing that I'm really excited to work with. You've got that idea of being connected to the moon, of being grounded, really important for going forward into a new year, to feel like you've got yourself grounded. I mean, how can we begin any planning for a new year until we feel safe in our own shoes? For me, that's what the moon deck is. It's kind of shadow work as well for me. Deviant moon is perfect for it. It has that hibernating feel, and yet you've got this flamboyant, wonderful colour and storytelling of the creativity oracle, where all things are possible. Ground yourself and all things will become possible. That's what these two together are screaming to me, and that's what I'm going to be using them for. Ground yourself, then all things are possible. So that's the Deviant moon with the creativity oracle. Again, two mass market decks there, absolutely perfect. And I have to say, it was only doing this tag and sorting out my winter box of decks that it made me realise that I like and I'm pulled to that dichotomy of colour and decoration and excitement, but dark as well. So it clarified a few things for me sorting out these decks. And the next pairing as well, it's on the same vein really. Another purple bag, a really massive purple bag. I wonder if you can guess what might be in here. Yeah, it's another Amy Zerner and Monty Farber deck. This time it's the 25th anniversary edition of the Enchanted Tarot. I think it is the Enchanted Tarot. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. If I compare it to this more normal size tarot card or oracle card here, you can see how massive it is. Can I even get it in screen? Hang on, just about, or not really. And again, I thought I'd pair it with something a lot more barren and darker. The woods look like this at the minute. The woods have lost their leaves. They're much more open. There's less secrecy and more witchy vibes in the woods at the minute. Barren with decoration. The outside world of winter versus the inside world of winter. I just thought these two would go really beautifully. If you want to know what this oracle is, it's the Tree Whisper Oracle by our lovely Mags, and it's a goodie. So if I can get any of these to fit in the screen, I will show you what they look like. I also love just the shape of the cards. These are both an unusual shape. They are longer and less wide and skinnier and taller. You know what I'm saying. So when I put them both together, I think that really works as well. There is a real, although this is stark landscape, there is a real decorative element in the shapes that the trees make, which I think just ties in wonderfully with the textile applique art that is in this deck. But you've got that sort of outside of winter alongside the decorative sparkly inside of winter. It's that idea of going into ourselves, shutting ourselves away to hibernate, to give us time to dream, to kind of think about all the things we want for the year to come. I love this time of year for that, and I think this is what I'm getting at with these decks. It's kind of, this is what it looks like from the outside, but on the inside this is going on. And I think that's what I'm keying into with them. But don't you think these look great as well? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited with these pairings. Oh, look at this. So wonderful. I love it. So I can't wait to work with this pairing as well. Okay, another feeling that I have for this season and the holiday season, because I'm really doing more winter energy, whereas I know the original tag, Deck the Halls with Decks, was to do with lots of holiday energies rather than winter energies. So I'm kind of changing it up a little bit. But these next two, I think I did choose because of holiday vibes. They're so different, these two decks, but I think they work. For me, a holiday vibe, if we're talking about Christmas, because it would be, I was raised with Christmas Day and Christmas and going to church for Christmas Eve service and like walking through the snow to the local church. So it has kind of a Christian sort of ceremonial aspect to it, to this time of year, which I haven't left behind, even though I now class myself as pagan. For me, this Tarot of the Black Madonna is perfect for that vibe, and I thought I would pair it with the Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish. Not only have you got the thing that I've been talking about all the way through, shadows and light, decoration and darkness, barren landscape and excitement, you've got that in the title, but I think this also ties into kind of that inner child. The artwork is kind of inner child, excited for Christmas presents vibe to it. So I just was really interested to see if these two together would carry that energy of actually like Christmas week, the week that we're in at the minute. Oh my goodness me, look at this. Look at it. Who would have thought? You wouldn't think, would you, that these would go? But look at this. This excites the pants off me, looking at these. Oh my gosh, I love them. I love them together. And it was only connecting with this through this tag, saying actually what actually is the energy of this time of year for me, that led me to this combination. I would never in a million years have put these two together without just thinking about it from an energy point of view. Oh my gosh, I just love these. Look at this. Is it just me, or do you think this is fantastic too? So this is definitely a combination. I think I might leave these two out, and in a couple of days time I might swap to using these two, because I think this is going to be quite a spectacular pairing. So that's real holiday season vibes for me, for lots of different reasons. Okay, I have two more pairings to share. Loads of decks, I told you. Now, coming at it from a landscape, walking in the woods, winter time kind of feel. I know the bag doesn't look like it would contain a deck for that, but it had to be this one, the Star Tarot. And I know it's full of colour, but I mean, for a start, it doesn't get more winter vibes in the backs, does it, of this deck? You've got gold gilding, not silver. I know that, and I know it's full of colour, so it could be spring or summer, but no, it couldn't. I mean, look at that. It's just got this sort of cold but decorated and colourful winter vibe. Not that one, I know. Well, that one probably. It feels like there's bracing winter air through all of these cards. And I thought this one might work fantastically with the Visionary I-Ching cards by Paul O'Brien. Is it I-Ching or is it I-Ching? Oh my gosh, I haven't started study of this. I don't even know how to say the words. That's how not an expert I am. But the I-Ching, I think it's I-Ching, is a divination system that I want to learn in 2023. So there's that. There's a goal set that has made me choose this deck, but beyond that, it was the sort of cold landscapes of this against the bracing winter air feel of the Star Tarot. For me, the Star Tarot kind of feels very holiday season vibes. It's very Christmas week vibes. I think it's, you see it here, like lots of decoration, lots of colour, things that will make my inner child squeal with joy like presents on Christmas Day. But it's got that kind of starry night, cold winter's night feel to it. And set against the uncluttered, cool landscapes of the Visionary I-Ching cards, I think this pairing might really be really interesting to work with. This is one of my favourite decks visually. It's literally everything I love. It's got all the colour, it's got lots to look at. I love it. And I think this pairing, I think, might just be fantastic. What do you think? And am I even in shot? Probably not. Yeah, wonderful. So that's the Visionary I-Ching cards, I-Ching cards, guys. I'm so sorry that I don't know how to say that. I should really have checked that before I started filming, but at least I'm being honest. I am an absolute newbie at the start of a study journey. I'm sure the next video where I mention it, I will actually know how to say the word and how to pronounce it. But a great pairing. I'm really looking forward to this pair as well. And finally, something really exciting. I have said that for me, you're right there, Rupert. I've said for me that this time of year is a lot about story. And I bought myself a deck, guys. Now, I was talking to Rumour Haven, whose channel I'll link below, about decks. She showed me this deck on FaceTime, and I just thought, why have I not got this deck? This is Phantomwise Tarot by Erin Morgenstern. Now, of course, Erin Morgenstern is the writer of The Night Circus, which is in my top 5 favourite books ever. I think I had held back from this deck because it hadn't got enough of the Night Circus in it for me. If you really know the book, you really know the story, and you really love it, I think this doesn't quite hit the mark. But I suddenly thought, as a deck just in its own right, look, I haven't even opened it, guys. My no buy year, I'm digressing, my no buy year has meant that the things that I've bought in, I'm leaving them unopened. It's almost like I've forgotten how to open stuff. So this is really exciting. Look, you're joining in with me on an opening of something after a year of no buy. So, as I was saying, I think if you just take this as a deck, just, and you kind of leave the idea of it being linked to the book. So you leave that to one side and just take it as a deck. Oh my gosh, look at this. This looks like in the Night Circus. The red and the black and the white. Oh my gosh, it's linen cardstock. Oh my gosh, it's my favourite cardstock. I love this linen. It's the same cardstock as the Literary Witches. Oh my gosh, look at it. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think that if you just view this just as a deck in its own right. Oh, look. and you take away the idea of it being linked to the book, then it works. Oh, bunnies and ravens. And I really loved it when Rumour showed it. So Rumour, you made me do this, but I'm so glad you did. It's a story, it's black and white, it's about hibernating, but it's also that idea of the circus, which makes me think about going to shows at Christmas and stuff like that. And I thought it might pair really nicely with the Divine Circus Oracle by Alana Fairchild, which is one that I haven't really worked with much. This is the old version with the borders. I know that now they're doing it borderless, which I don't like as much, to be honest. But if anything screamed in the Night Circus, it's these two backs together. It is just perfect. And I think over this Christmas time, I think I'm going to try and reread the Night Circus. And I might reread it as I'm working with these two decks. Oh, so what do we think? So I think this really has holiday season vibes as well to me. The link with stories there. Also that idea with like going out to shows or to going to the theatre or fantastical films on the TV. It's just that leap into the unusual. It's an unusual time of year, isn't it? Look at that hair with this Wheel of Fortune card. It is so exciting. It's so exciting to have a new deck. Oh my gosh, look at this. So I did go on a bit of a splurge. I ordered this and then I went a bit mad. A whole year of not buying anything apart from my I-Ching of the Goddess Oracle, to suddenly say you can order something. I did have a bit of a splurge. It wasn't the only deck that I ordered. I had a few come this week, but oh my gosh, it's joyous. And having not bought anything for a year, I think that's okay. I just wanted to have that feeling of buying again. So this incredibly long video with winter energy decks has turned into an exciting unboxing as well. I love these together. Look at these. I just love them together. Wow. So the Divine Circus Oracle and the Phantomwise Tarot, that's a really another exciting deck combo to work with. I am going to carry on looking at my new deck in a moment. I suppose, although I've shared loads, I could also share a couple that I threw in the box as other decks that I are out and I want to either carry on working or work with for the first time. The Barbara G. Walker I-Ching of the Goddess Oracle, which is the deck that I bought in my No Buy Year, is still out. It still has that wintertime feel, I think. But also the Lilifer Tarot, which came last year, but I've not really worked with. I don't really like the card stock of this. Oh my gosh, look at those two cards together. Isn't that amazing? The card stock has put me off a little bit, but I don't feel like I've given it any chance at all. So these two, this one's staying out. Let's turn this deck around so it's not upside down. And this one I've thrown in the winter box just to give it a go. Oh my gosh, look at the synchronicities here in the imagery. I love it when that happens. Oh my gosh, look. Oh yeah, this might be an amazing pairing. And this serpent almost looks like this landscape, doesn't it? So those are my bonus pair of decks for winter time. So that's it, guys. A really deck heavy and long video, I know. A VR to Clementeers, Creative Cartomancy. I will put all of the links below. I'll put the tag in the title, so if anybody wants to join in, you can. So thanks guys so much for watching. I would love to know what your winter decks are, but also what energies you feel pulled to in this season, whether it just be holiday season or winter season. But what are the energies that you pick up on and that you feel are around you? Right, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful Christmas if I don't see you again before the big day, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.